Hey, welcome back. So in this video we're going to design our print page. Okay, so here we can also put our bootstrap and all that, just like we have on the home view page. Let me go up here. We have the header and the footer as well, so you can put that information there if you want, and the footer. But we don't want everything from the header and the footer. We just want because there's navigation here. If not in array controller, no nav. Okay, so there was a way to remove the navigation after all. But it's not a big deal. We can just copy everything the way it is from here and go to the print page and just add it there like this. Okay, and then close the body tag there and the HTML tag as well. Then let's move this over. Okay, so everything else is good. So we have everything we need here to use the CSS that we need so that we can create here. So receipt, we have let's put this one at h4. Let's put h1 that can contain the, let's try this. Let's put center and closing center tag over there. Okay. So the first one will contain, let me move these above so that we collect the data before we start displaying it. Okay, so at least I know vars has what I need, or it's actually obj. So I'm going to remove that. And then right here, I will echo out something from vars. So that's from object this time. This is object company. That's the name of the thing we put there. So that's the company name, and then the receipt. And then from there, we have a table that we can add, which contains the information that we want. So table row there, and then let's put table header maybe. Quantity, table header. So you can design this receipt as you need. So maybe this is quantity, and then we have description, amount, at. Okay, description, quantity, description, at, and then we put amount. All right, let's put it, capitalize that, and then we can loop through this and do the same down here. So here we'll make a loop. I'm going to put PHP tags and say for each obj as key and value. So yep, let's leave that alone. Let me remove that. Let's put a full colon and close that up, and let's put some PHP tags and end the for each, so like that. Okay, good. So at least now we're going to loop through the obj, but it's not obj that we need to loop through, it's obj data. So I'm going to do this data like that. But there will be times that vars ends up not having anything in there, so we need to probe if this is an array for real to avoid errors. So I'm going to put an if statement here and say if is array obj, then let's continue. Okay, I'll copy that just to put the end if right here, and if. Okay, so let me organize this a little bit better. So I'm going to move this inward like that, and that, and that. Okay, so that looks okay. So as we loop through these, there's a key and there's a value. So let me see what that key value relationship is like. by looking at the other for each loop that we did when creating a new where is that? Items new. Where is that? Right here. So items.length, and then there's item I, and then there's ID, there's quantity, and then what else? There's amount. Let me see here. The data is here. So in the array, there's ID, there's barcode, there's description. So what the user really wants is a description, an amount. We don't need the image. We need, there's views, there's amount, there's quantity, and then we can deduce a total from there. Okay, so that's good enough. So back here to the print view, what I'll get here is from the value, there's going to be, value is an array, isn't it? Yes. So let me do this and say as row. So there's going to be a row here. So I'll do this and say row quantity, and then let's copy this, and there's a description, of course, a small letter D, and then there's an at, which corresponds to amount, and then finally the amount itself, we just have to multiply amount times quantity. So let's put a multiplier there, and then I'm going to copy that and paste it here, then put amount, but we need to limit the decimal places, so let's do that. I'm going to do that and say number format like this, and then put a comma and put 2. Then you can put your $sign there, maybe no space between that and the $sign, I don't know. Then let's change the table header to table data. So th here in this row, since it's data, changes to td. And then we need some classes for the table. So this one is table striped. Yeah, something like this. Okay, cool. So let's see how this will look like now that we've designed it. Let's go back here, continue. Let me refresh and let's add a few items. And let's try and check out 200. And let's press next. Okay, so there we go. We have a receipt here. If I press continue, the receipt remains. So this is how it looks like. Maybe the width is too small. It should be something like this. Yeah. So what I'll do is right here where I'm telling it to print, I'll change that to maybe 500 width. Let's try that. So my point of sale receipt, then you can put a date here. Let's put a date down here just after receipt. And then these are the amounts: 10, 10, 2, 50, 100. This looks so good. Down here we just need to say amount paid and then total. So we need a total here, and then amount paid, and then change. And then down here we can write thank you for shopping with us. Okay, so let's finish up with that and we can move on. So after all this, after we've looked through all of this, we need to have a total at some point. Now, if I go back to my home page here, do we already have a total so we can just add it there? Maybe we do. Let's say change. So G total is the grand total. So I'm just going to copy that and put it as part of this. Oopsie. So let's put G total and put it right there. Very good. So now at least we have a grand total that we can add. We have a change, we have amount paid, right? Okay. So what we'll do is come back here. After the looping here, we can add a few more rows. So table row, and then let's add table data. Now we're going to miss, if you look at this, oh, I've closed it, sorry about that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So we just need to write total here and then put a total on the last two. So we'll leave these two empty. So what you can do is you can duplicate these a few times. But I want this one to cover 2 columns so that the other two cover that. So I'll just say column span, I'll just say core span 2. So this one will cover 2 columns, and then there will be total here, and then here we'll put grand total, right? So I'll copy this and put it here, and the name is G total. That's what we named it. So that's one row. Let's make another row for the change, right? So here we'll say change. So put that here and that there. Let's put a bold thingy there. Copy that. Let's do the same on the total here, since that's the amount to really concentrate on. We can even change the font size here and make it bigger, but total is fine. Change, and then what else? Amount paid. Okay, so we have the total. Let me duplicate this one down here. And then we'll say amount paid. And then change. This one is amount. Yep. And then right after the table, I'll put a center tag and just say, thanks for shopping with us. Boom. Let me put a P for paragraph so that it's in its own state there. We can also put it in italics so that it looks italic. Very good. So take your time and design your receipt properly. That's up to you. So let's try this one more time. Let me refresh. Okay, so say 200. Bam. And there we go. So here's our receipt now. So as you can see, that's my point of sale receipt. Oh, we forgot the date. And amount paid was 200. This is the total, and then the change is this one. As you can see, this one covers 2 lines. Very good. Thanks for shopping with us. Let's put a date down here, and then we are done. So back here, right about there. Let's put an H5 so it's smaller, and let's put a date. So date is easy to put. Let's put PHP tags as well, and then we'll go date Y M D. Actually, let's put small letter J, capital S, F for a complete thingy, comma, and then Y. So that's the date. This is the month, full month. If you want a shorter version of the month, 3 letters, put capital M. If you want numbers, put small letter M. But I want the full date, so I'll do that. And then you can put your hours, minutes, and seconds if you want, but nobody cares about the seconds, so let's just put hours and minutes. And then you can show if it's AM or PM just by putting that A there. Okay. So receipt. Let's put that in italics as well. All right, so let's try that for the last time. Refresh. Let's try this. 70 kwacha. And there we go. Oopsie daisy. The date is quite large. Well, let's change this to a div. That way it's not so big. Okay, so date, what we did, thanks for shopping. So you can write anything you want here. Let me capitalize that. Receipt. I hope that's how you write receipt. I'm losing my mind here. Okay, so this is how you make your receipt. Now all we need to do is tell it to print this. So simple and straightforward. What we will do is down here, right at the bottom, let's put some, not styles, but script tags. That way, the moment it gets here, we can tell it, what do we tell it? Let's tell it to window.print. That way it brings up the print dialog box. Okay, so let's wait from there, refresh, let's try again. 60. Continue. So as you can see now, what has happened is it has opened the print dialog box right here. So let me put the whole thing. So this is how it is, the print thing. As you can see behind here is the receipt. Let me cancel that. This is the receipt. Date is smaller. If I press Ctrl P, that's what this does. So if I zoom it out, this is what you see. Now what I don't want is for the user to come and press, because now what happens is the cashier, if for some reason you can't have it click the enter button by itself to print, you will have to have the cashier press enter, because if I press enter now, it will ask me to save this file, because the printer that I've chosen here is the PDF printer, which is the default, save to PDF. Okay, but what you need to do is, if you have a receipt printer, you have to install it on that computer and then select it from here. So whatever what's this settings you put here, they are going to remain as the defaults, especially when you use the Windows application, because it's like a browser. Whatever settings you do, they're going to be saved. And then here it's up to you to tick these, that print headers and footer, because sometimes these can still let me try to zoom this in, but it doesn't look like I can. Okay, so these can steal real estate from the printer, the receipt. They may take up space, so just untick them so you don't see the header and footer there if you don't want that. And then you can set your margins if you don't want margins, so that the receipt prints exactly in the full space. This is useful for those small printer sizes, because they're already thin and small, so you don't want margins around, so you can put that on none, or you can leave it on the default. That's up to you, depending on the type of paper you're using. So you can set all these params here, and then once you say print, it's going to save those, it's going to remember them for next time. Okay, so this is all it is. Now all we need to do here is have it press the print button here on its own. Now the problem is I don't have any printer on this computer at all, so you have to use your imagination here. So if I click print, what happens? Oh, so it goes to the fax machine. Right. Connect the fax modem. Okay, that's okay. I'll use the fax for now so that we can actually see. Oh my god, what's all that? No. So that we can actually see that thing disappear over time. So I'm going to close this for now. That's how you design a receipt and have it print.